Alright, we're going to talk sort of first impressions here on the Factory 5 Cobra. This is as it rolled off the truck, so can't say enough about Stewart Transport. Those guys are awesome. Super helpful in just getting it off the truck and into my garage. I would say that I decided to build a little custom dolly for it so I can move it around. First thing I learned was that those casters, which are 4-inch casters, are probably a little bit small for this, though the dolly pulls the chassis just fine. This thing's only about 425 pounds, so with the body on it, at least that's what the Stewart guy said. So yeah, first things you kind of notice are how well it's packed for shipping. There's little styrofoam padding on all the corners that can, easily get nicked. On the nose as well. All the things that open on the car, doors, hood, trunk lid, etc., are taped down so they don't go anywhere. I went ahead and put in the seats just because that's the first thing you do, is put the seats in and sit in it. But these are the leather seats, which, wow, they look fabulous, really nicely done. Going around the rest of the car, you can see those things. The body's bolted on nicely. Yeah, we've got a inventory list to do here. So this is everything that came off the truck. So that's one of the first things you got to do, is go through your list and make sure you got everything. I already know I got all the boxes because I had to check it off as they came off the truck. Gotta step over the rear end here. Yeah, the body looks good. I think the first thing that people do here when they come up and look at this, is go, oh, nice red, or and they rub all these mold lines, and it's like, yeah, those are going to get sanded off, so no worries. Most of it just crumbles off, you can see there. There is a little bit of the molding compound stuck in the molds, so I've heard that this is a you need to make sure you remove that, which makes total sense. It's just like a waxy substance. It's a little red, you can see there. Maybe I do wish Factory 5 would have used something besides red so it's easier to spot, but no big. Just make sure you remove it all before you start grinding these things off, because I'm told that stuff can get rubbed into the gel coat here, and if you don't get it all out, can cause fish eyes and lensing in your final paint job. So don't be surprised about that. All the sort of seams look pretty good, like level in terms of the different levels of the body, right? They don't look molded off too badly, or off at all, so that's great. I did manage to nick my knee moving this thing around, so I've already drawn blood on this project, so I'm sure that won't be the first time. You can see some of the gel coat is cracked around seams, but I'm sure that's just part of the molding process. It just so happens that little part of the mold is weird. Who knows? This is kind of probably the only part where I was like, seeing a serious not serious, you know, it can all be covered up with in the bodywork, but a sort of difference between the two panel lines, right here by the filler cap and the back cap piece here. You know, that's a little bit of a variation there, right? A little dip, and yeah. So this is the only area where I see a big sort of difference. It's the same on the other side. So this particular mold line comes in. There's a little bit of a dip valley in here, so that's going to have a lot, you know, bunch of body filler to make that nice and smooth. And in general, the area around the gas cap is a little bit, you know, that's off. So we'll need to fill that, smooth it eventually. Everything else looks good, and it's kind of the same story over here, right? Where, you know, the difference between these two sections is significant. That's the worst part on the body, as far as I can tell. Is just this back area. So, I mean, oddly, that's probably the area that most vehicles are going to see the most, is the rear end. So, it's a little joke. But yeah, it looks really nice. You know, the surface of the glass is pretty smooth. Actually, I don't think this is fiberglass. I think it's something else. I don't see many sort of defects in it at all. You know, so that's a little spot that looks like it needs to get sanded down, but no big. It's not scratched at all. There's another little ding on the hood. There's a little tiny little, looks like some sort of impact right here, but like from an egg, right? I got an egg thrown at my car once, and that's exactly what it looked like. It's just a little spider pattern. So no big. I got the unfinished frame, so I'm gonna clean that up a little bit and powder coat it. It's another pretty big. It's gonna require a little bit of body work where the front part of the wheel well comes down into this front fascia. There's a little ding there, so that's gonna require some work. By the way, this is probably one of the first things you should do, is sort of inspect your kit, you know, and make sure, you know, just make mental notes of the little things that you see and find. One of my roles in the military was to inspect maintenance actions as they were completed, make sure they were safe for flight, and that's kind of what I'm doing here, right? My kit didn't. I think I'm missing a couple of the cockpit panels, right? Need to check this in my inventory, but the trans tunnel cover was not in my kit, and I think there's a little piece that goes right behind. There's that angled piece right there, but I haven't really looked under the body, so I don't know what else is under there. So the first thing is to inventory all my boxes, right? And you can see, along with our geriatric rabbit sanctuary over here, that these are all the boxes that came with it. I think 45 was the highest number, but I didn't get all the boxes, right? So storage wise, you know, which was a big concern, is where do I put everything. Not bad. One good shelf there has got everything, and I've got a couple of boxes right over here, which are like windshields and light things. I know someone's going to say, oh, don't put those heavy boxes on top of the windshield, right? The windshield is the bottom piece. Yeah, that box is pretty stout, and I'm not worried about it. And all that's in 17 there is the dash kit, so that's just carbon fiber stuff, so should be good there. So that's it. It's pretty cool. Into the mouth of the beast. So, how much you can see in there. Thing's pretty stout. It's like 5-inch tubes, right? Yeah, pretty amazing.